Hello there, welcome again. This is season 4 of ManCave Conversation, and I know you guys are just loving it, loving it. We have some of the old heads and we have some new people, but tonight we're going to be talking about, we're going to put the guys on the hot seat because we have so many single women. In fact, I know quite a lot, and they are ready to be married. I think they are a good catch. But there is this singleness that's happening. Not only that, a lot of the men who are telling us about relationship and what should happen in relationship, they themselves are single. So we're going to put them on a hot seat, try to figure out why they're still single. So stay tuned. Bruce, I would tell you to introduce yourself, but I think your name is well known. People love you. I wouldn't say they hate you, but sometimes they don't like you. What have you been up to?
I've been maintaining a few changes this year, major in my family. But life is good, God is good, business is well, still growing. I'm on the verge of opening a tropical smoothie down here at the National Harbor. So business as well.
Right.
Yeah, I can't complain.
Okay. Married yet? Since last week. Oh, okay. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. All right, I'll be right back with you. Okay, a new person. Well, not too new. He was with us before, and he's gonna kind of bring some balance tonight because he's the only married man here. We're going to find out about whether or not he is alpha, beta, data. But help me welcome Ryan. Ryan Daniels, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing? Thank you for having me on the show.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What's going on? Where you're from? I know where you're from, but tell our audience, where are you from?
Well, I live in Minnesota, but I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago. I own a media production company. I am been married for 17 years, proud father of a 12-year-old son, 2-year-old girl, and a baby on the way in November.
Nice. So you're doing some things. All right. So what are your anticipations for ManCave Conversation? Are there any new things that you think that the women should know? You don't have to tell us what they are, but are there some things that you think these single women, married women, well, you can speak specifically to married women, to things that will make us better.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, a key reason why the singleness is a big deal is because a lot of people are delusional, right? It's just straight up delusions, right? Fostered by social media, false expectations. So the truth is, even though I mean, we're talking about man caves, so there's a lot of women in the next 30 years that's going to be like super single, like a lot of women.
OMG. Listen, okay, put a pin in it.
So,
all right, listen.
It's coming.
Guys, make sure you like and share because in the next 30 years, Prophet Ryan is predicting that it will be at least 30. Okay, Prophet will be right back with you.
All right.
Okay. The other person who's here, he's rocking and rolling. He is, co-author. He is radio host. I think one of the things that you guys don't know about Charles is that he is a phenomenal singer. And a phenomenal singer, like for real, for real. I have not seen him do any of his music on social media, but we're gonna push for some of that. We probably, before this ManCave Conversation series is ended, we may have to just go into the studio and hear Charles. What y'all think? If you want to hear Charles sing, just put a yes right in the comment. Let me bring him on and see what's going on with Mr. Dixon.
Oh, Lord. How are
They
you?
don't know. They don't know about your singing.
I know.
What is it? The liberal soul.
The liberal soul with a D.
Yeah,
D-A.
with a D.
Yeah, liberal
D.
soul. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the Trinidad would say, the Trinidadians don't say the THs. It's D.
I know. Right.
What is this tongue between your teeth thing? No, we don't do that. It's D.
I know.
The
Right?
liberal soul.
Yeah, the liberal soul.
Yeah, what you been up to?
Still doing the same things, the same radio stuff. Working on a book in the background, stuff like that. Just trying to stay abreast and positive. It's a lot going on out here. So
yeah,
trying to stay.
I think the audience don't know that you and Bruce are actually life coaches.
Oh yes,
yeah.
We came through. We came to the University of Holmes Academy International, and no, I'm just joking, but yeah.
So when you guys are talking, you're talking from that platform, not just having those casual conversations, but actually working in the background. Listen, I'm anxious now. I think Prophet Ryan just set me up, so let me just get all the guys here. Yo, y'all starting. Listen. Let's, our production team is in the background, and we want to say thank you to all of them. But I want to jump right in. And Prophet Ryan, talk to me. What is this about? So before I go to Bruce and Charles, what is this? What do you predict? And why?
Well, I mean, it's not really a prediction or prophecy. It's just math, right? So right now with social media and the changes to dating and all that stuff, right? Yeah. The idea of the alpha male or the 1% and different things, the values of what is practical and necessary to stay alive in a relationship, right? Those values are off the charts, right? Yeah. So everything with regards to the new women, I'm talking about 20, right? Where they're most attractive, and men are trying to be with them. Those women, in essence, their values are in a completely different place. Okay? And they don't value the man in that way. Right? So the independence, nothing's wrong with independence, but the point is they don't see a need for relationship and companionship long term.
Yeah.
By the time they do see it, doctor, they're already 30. They've already done so much stuff. They've already got so much pictures on whatever, right?
Right.
Hold on. The pictures, the pictures that the guys ask for. Give me a little shot of the boobs. Give me a little shot of the behind. The pictures the men ask for. Now the women are going to be held accountable for sending it to the man who asked for it. That's what we're saying here.
But guess what? We don't have to ask anymore, unfortunately. They are. We don't listen, Dr. Cheryl. We could just log in to any of your social medias of choice, and it's like everything for everyone. And I think this is the one thing that I know it may sound like it's like a crazy thing to think of this way, but like you said, we are visual creatures. We are men. We like to see. However, we like to see, but we don't want everyone else to see. And the thing is, women today you have to look at it like this. Here's a woman. She may be beautiful. She may have it all going on, all the curves, everything else. But she disrobes for the entire world. She gets online and she's like, look, I don't care who you are, large, small, pervert, real man, pastor, whoever, kid, 16, whatever, I'm naked. This is my body. Look at all of me. And that's a lot. And so it's a lot for a man to wrap his mind around when that same woman will come to him and say, who do you think I am? Don't you ask me for that kind of picture. Respect me. You're not respecting yourself in front of the entire world. So what do you want us to do? So yeah, it's hard.
Bruce? Yeah. Your mic is...
You're on mute. You're on mute, Bruce.
I piggyback off of what the brother said. I mean, it is so... I think it's a a market value statement that if something is on high demand, that it's what do you charge more or charge less?
Yeah, you charge more when it's at the moment. You charge more.
But when it comes to these single women, it seems like that's reversed.
Yeah. Wow.
Because there's so much of it available that the value has gone down.
Yes, it's commonplace.
Yeah, it's commonplace.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's deep. It's commonplace.
You know, one of the things I remember just right here, a few years ago, I don't know if it was Charles or Bruce, but I know it was one of you, talked about the sales rack.
Clearance rack.
The clearance rack.
Yeah.
Clearance rack.
Yeah.
And even in private practice, I talk to some of the women about that, because it's like, if you not only are you in the clearance rack, you're jumping up and you have 40% off the clearance price. And that's something that we don't understand, because there's a level of desperation that's coming from the female camp, that we really believe that if we jump up there and we show a whole lot of stuff, that you guys are going to be interested.
Well, here's a perfect example. So there was an era, I'm sure you guys in the NYC and where Bruce is from, in Baltimore and DC, where we're from, there was like the hustlers and the hustlerettes. The hustlerettes was the well-kept woman, his well-kept woman. Now, there was always a man that admired his woman from afar. Now, he knew he couldn't touch her. And if he even tried to flirt with her, she would say, I'm with Bruce. You better get on somewhere, because Bruce was the money man. Well, we all know after Bruce gets locked up or something happens to him, now she's considered on clearance, because now she's not in the same place. She's not being maintained. She's not being well upkept like she was previously. So now she's open to communicate with the Charles and Ryan now, because I'm in a different place, and you want to still take me out? It's different. It's that kind of mindset where basically it's saying, when you start to lose the value of self and feel as though you have to be measured against another man to maintain your worth, you're putting yourself in a position to be marked down 70% off. Right. Right.
And a lot of time too is, based upon, what Charles was saying, man, these young folks aren't about traditional wisdoms.
Oh, no.
They're all about street wisdoms.
That's it.
Right? So they've gone the way where you will change. As soon as you hit 30, a woman changes because of who women are. They're going to change. You're going to want somebody.
Yeah.
Right? But they won't listen to the old wisdoms about from 20 all the way up. So by the time, here's what's happening. In early next 30 years, you're in high school. It's like, sometimes young high school boys like moms, right? There's a name for that, right? So they think moms attractive because they're starting to be interested in women.
Yeah.
There's going to be a thing in school. Who's got the most attractive mom? Because you'll be able to pull up other people's moms' naked pictures.
Yes.
Oh,
wow. Absolutely.
Gosh.
Absolutely. And that's real.
Oh,
see what I'm saying, Bruce? You know what I'm saying? You can be able to pull that up. Right now, it's still a little shameful, right? But you're going to see, he's got the coolest mom. Yeah. There it is.
Wow. That's a very good point, because a lot of times people are living, not just female, but there's this group of people who have been inducted into this Facebook of fame. It's living for the moment.
Yeah.
It's like that era when everybody wanted all these tattoos, and now we have people trying to remove them. Because in the moment, it was a fad. In the moment, everybody was having 10, 20, 30. And now they're getting older. It looks ugly. It's not as attractive. So they're just like, they're paying more money to take it off than it was to put it on. Because we are in the moment, whatever the fad, and social media. There is something that we call the psychologist's Bible. It's the DSM. They're all the psychological, like depression and whatever. In fact, if you need to get paid by insurance, you have to say, well, Charles is suffering from something that is listed in DMS.
Oh, wow.
Facebook addiction is going to be added on.
Oh, believe it.
And people, I have to constantly tell people that likes and love does not mean that you're famous. And it doesn't mean that you're rich. It's the people, most of the people who don't like my page, don't like what I'm saying, they're the ones on the phone and they're calling. Mm-hmm. But there are people right now, they don't understand that whereas we have support groups for alcohol and drugs and all of that, there is going to be social media groups to help people cope with the level of rejection.
Yes,
it's good.
Mental health and all of that, and depression, because what happens is you begin to foster a false sense of security of thinking, oh, let me get up and say hello. People are going to get real excited because I said hello. And then after a while, for a minute, they're going to say, Bruce is saying hello. Get on here and log on. But after a while, it's like, oh, that's just Bruce saying hello. And that's where it's hard to cope with. Just like people, just like with your celebrities that get depressed, stars or former stars that had the world's attention. And then when they go into the dark and no one's checking for them or calling to see how they're doing, it's a hard thing to grasp.
And people are not following strong, informative, researched information. They consider that boring.
Yeah.
If you acting the fool, your likes and followers will grow all the way up.
Yeah.
So the person who is giving great content have to understand, keep on doing it. No. Because although they're not liking it, they're getting it.
Yeah.
So we're in a place where people would just put the phone on live just to show they're brushing their teeth.
Absolutely.
Or they're walking down the street. It's just like, and people are there just looking, following you, and we're creating
because they're showing you a captured view of what they want you to see about their life. And if you think this person is interesting, you're like, oh my God, that's where she shops. That's the car she has. Look at her son. He's dressed so cute. You're showing all these good things, but you're not showing the real life when the camera's off. You're only showing the things that they want to see. So everybody is all engrossed in your life. And they're like, we want to see Dr. Cheryl and her husband are arguing. Now they're kissing again. Oh, love goes. So anything we can see, that's it.
Yeah, and I think this is really good. So let's go to the part of the story that everybody's waiting to hear.
Uh-oh.
And that is, why are so many of the men and women, I'm going to put the women in there, who are talking about relationships, who are the quote-unquote relationship gurus or experts, still single? I don't want no fluff. I just want the real deal. And we have two of you here, so I want to know who's going to go on the hot seat first. Charles,
all right, I'll go first. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to give you a scenario first, and I'll bring it real time. Just like in UC, kind of stuff like this. If you notice, there is always the OG. He put in all the work back in the day. He did all these things, and so now what he's a little older. He can still do those things, but what he's doing now is he's getting pleasure out of watching the youngsters that he's grooming to do what he once did. And so he knows the dangers of the game because he fell into the pitfalls of it himself. So he's trying to, teach them another way, this, that, and the other. So bringing this back full-fledged to me, I will say this, and I'm going to be completely honest. I actually love relationship. I do often fear the commitment aspect. And when I say commitment, I'm meaning when I'm saying being single as in not being a married man. But in terms of the commitment piece of it, I've come to grips that love overall it's damaged today, and it's not educated, nor is it honest. It's hopeful, but it's hurt, and so because love is hurt, people have these unrealistic expectations of connecting and finding these matches and living happily ever after and having all these beautiful weddings on social media and all these proposals, when you have a world of people that are broken in not just halves, they're in quarters and fourths and pieces, and they're hoping that someone else is going to come along and just show up and fill that broken space in their life. And so this is why I always say all of us have a responsibility to be honest with ourselves and say, where do I lack? Where am I breaking down in the process of trying to, find this connection? I can't just say soon as such and such person arrives in my life, I'm going to be magically happy and healthy. That's not true. Yeah, you may be a little excited because someone new is there, but that's just, that's momentous at best. It'll come along, but it'll pass. That newness will wear off after a few exchanges. If you get my drift, that'll wear off, and then you have to deal with the reality of the person. So I think for me, I will say this. I came up in a married household, both parents. So I love the institution of marriage. I will say, I know that I said this before. I've seen a lot. I've done a lot. I've played part in a lot of people on the other side of that commitment. Married, this, that, and the other, engaged. So for me, it took a lot out of me. It kind of discouraged me a bit. And so this is where the whole relationship stuff comes in. For me, I say to myself, okay, if you desire love, Charles, if you desire relationship, but you also can honestly say and admit to what you have sold into the quote unquote world of love negatively and all the things you've done over the years in the past that may have misled, hurt, whatever you call it, how can you repay the seed? At the same time, try to help yourself. So for me, I take pleasure in speaking on my experiences and things that I feel can help someone else, even while seeking that situation for me. And so it's a challenge, and I get it but each day life evolves. I say to myself, who am I trying to convince, myself or the world? But at the end of the day, we need a covenant partner. We do. And so I'm at the place, Dr. Cheryl. I've been running, you know how they say at church, you're running from the call. I've been running from the love, but I'm here for it. So let's go on with it.
Okay, so this is season 4. You've been with us all 4 seasons.
Yes. Oh,
what?
All right.
So when you see, and I'm going to put all y'all on the hot seat, when you see yourself as an old man.
Oh my! I don't want to see myself as an old man.
When you see as an old, graceful man.
Right.
Are you alone?
Oh, no, I don't want. You know what? I promise you, that's the thing that brings me to reality. Is I say to myself, oh, here's another thing. I didn't add this part. One thing that hurts men as they get up in age, like let's just say if you're 40 and beyond and you're independent and you're handling your business and things like that, after a while, if you're not careful, so much success can overshadow the need for her. When you're doing it on your own, after a while, you're building your case to say, why do I need to add someone to this? I'm handling it on my own.
Can I mess you up a little bit?
Oh, go ahead.
Can I mess you up a little bit?
No, I'm just telling you.
You know why that will happen?
Yes.
Because let's put it PG. Your hands are in the cookie jar. You have jars of cookies that is at your disposal. So the business and everything will override it because somebody not only sending the little cute pictures, they kind of opening up and sharing juices.
No, you're absolutely right. And so, no, I get that. And so pulling all of that false reality aside, because that's what it is. It's just like, it's smoking guns. It's just like, it's for the moment, but it's not permanent. And so at the end of the day, you have to say to yourself, listen, at this age and state in your life, you have had and have done enough, right? So it's time to enjoy your life and be a blessing not only to someone else, but allow them to be a blessing to you. I personally believe the woman, when she connects to the man, and if a man receives her, she blesses his entire life. He has to be
That
open to
sounds
that.
really good. I'm going to bring Bruce on. That sounds really good
Oh, no.
for a nice little resume, but it's not working right now because I want you to, that's your boy, you know, that's your boy. So the baton is passed on to you. Help me, Bruce Oliver. Why are you so single?
So he said it. It's like when you reach a measure of success, whatever that means, and you did it by yourself. It's like, I mean, even there were marriages in the midst, but it's kind of like you feel that at my age, all right, I'll be 53 in November, and you have so much experience with women, all types, all mentalities, all personality types, all different love languages. But you feel like you meet these people and they are used cars, doctor.
But they used by, so here's a question I want to just put in there, and I'm going to give you a chance to just answer it. What are you telling the women who are circling around, auditioning for the role of wife? Because in your mind, it might happen, it might not happen. What's the narrative? What are you saying to them that makes them gives access to the cookie jar, but not to the ring on the board?
I think that for me, I think my measure of intelligence and how I view the world, how I view the scriptures, I believe that they are initially attracted to that. And the level of thirst is so high. It's so high that those standards are not really like, it's like they're not sticking to any particular standards. However, like I was saying, they it seems like they're used cars who want to be treated like a new car, but their mentality is not functioning like they're a new car. If that makes any sense.
It does make sense, but I think some people are going to be offended because
that's what I do, Doc.
I know. Here's the cycle that we're on. There's some player women. There's some women who just in for the game. They've learned the game from the men really well, and they play the game. But there's some genuine women who really think that they look at you guys. They can't look at Ryan. Ryan is already married. They look at you, and they look at Charles, and they look at Inyatu, and some of the other guys that's going to come on to the show. And you guys are handsome men. You guys are educated. You love God. If you're like Charles, you can sing and you can preach and all of that other stuff. So the criteria for a good man is all the way there. But it's somehow elusive because they can get this close to you, but they can't crack it. They can't crack the nut. They can't get into that place where you move from girlfriend into wife, not temporarily, and not with a fairy tale. How does she get to that place? Because there has to be somebody who would get in there. How does a woman get in there? Your woman.
For me, my woman is on a fast track there now because she has a mentality that reflects wholeness. She's not perfect, but the issues and the mistakes that have been made, the challenges in her past relationships, the challenges in her peer groups with other girlfriends, she doesn't reflect any illness from that, if that makes any sense. Her mentality is bright and fresh, and she's not she doesn't come across like an open wound, doctor. So when we're spending time together, I'm enjoying the freshness of her soul, the freshness of her spirit. I'm not in a position where I'm constantly a therapist, or if I mention something about relationships, then here comes the bitter heart. The contents of the heart is cluttered and bitter. And we are so used to putting our representative forward that we don't take the time to deal with the heart.
So how long would it take you to transition this girlfriend into a wife?
I'm not sure how to answer that question, doctor.
It's like how you answer it. You're Bruce. I'm coming this season. We're coming hard. We're coming strong. How long does it take to because what you're saying, you started off by talking about you've encountered all kinds of women, all shape, size, ethnicity, status, all of that. And here at 52 and a half, boom, you have found the one who seems to meet the need, deal with the alpha man, deal with all of those things. Is this going to be something? I mean, what is there to wait for? Are you waiting for a word from the Lord? Are you waiting for the rain to fall? How long would it take to transition?
For me personally, I'm waiting for some seasons to pass. Because for me, I want to make sure that everything that I'm discerning is accurate and consistent. and that she's just not a little slick one.
You see, yeah. This is where I have problems, because if you go into the garbage can and you find a precious jewel, right? You come out, you wash it, you keep it. Are you gonna say, you know what? I'm just gonna see if there's gonna be more, or maybe it's gonna turn. The eyes of wisdom, the eyes of the alpha man, should be able to detect. I'm going to go to Ryan so that he helps us understand how did he choose his pearl, because the problems that we're having, and as a psychologist, one of the things that we understand, there was a tradition that there's a certain amount of time that you should wait before you get married. People are going to stone me now, but if you're in the marriage group, and all of you need to be in the marriage group, one of the things I'm advocating for is something similar to marriage at first sight or arranged marriages. Because I'm seeing now that love, which we wait for to grow and be amazing, is not necessarily helping the relationship. People are getting divorced from people they love.
Yeah.
Love cannot be the only reason or the big reason. It has to be a whole lot more. In Bible days, it wasn't even that. The father sent the servants to go. He had a list of these are the expectations. Father, go and send the servant, go find me someone who fits this criteria. So if we want to do the biblical way seemed to be arranged marriages as opposed to all of this stuff. So I'm really leaning towards that even more. I think traditionally lots of people wouldn't like it, but Ryan, how do you help how do you help Bruce shorten his time of waiting, since he seemed to have found someone who's the closest, I guess, to what he needs?
Well, can I answer some of the, I think, the questions or the issues that a lot of people fail to see. And here's what this is. Men stay single, in my opinion, right? Because one of the reasons is that what they want, they can't afford it.
Ooh, where's Where's the offering plate? Y'all just cash out my brother here, because these guys are bringing in hard and strong today. All right, preach, preacher.
You see what I'm saying? So what they want, they can't afford it, right?
What is it costing them though?
Absolutely, they're asking that question because there's a certain level of life proficiency of an experience, right? So that's one of the questions. They're like, I can't afford it. Another thing is that after they've made I guess they've assumed what the relationship is, they don't want to pay the price, right? So they don't want to pay the price. I think Brother Bruce mentioned it, of creating, developing, mentoring, and all of that stuff to build a relationship into what it needs to be, right? Because the experience has allowed them to see a lot of it, and a lot of times they know where this is going to end, right? So one of the things that, and we could kind of play this game, but most of the times if we talk about the 1% of men, and that's the men that have quote unquote 1%, right? I don't really believe this stat, but the men that have everything, they have a lot of money, and those men can almost pick from any women. The women that those guys are picking are very, very feminine women that they may not give a lot of opinions. They look really great on your arm. And those are the women that the 1%, quote unquote 1% of men are picking. Another interesting stat is that 80% of the divorces, we talked about that, are initiated by women, right? So in my opinion, it has to do with a certain time. Women who should be, in my opinion, are using their young years, right, to learn and to formulate relationships, are either chasing careers and putting it off till later. And I'm not saying that that's bad, right? So by the time they want a man, the man has also journeyed, okay? So now the man is saying, okay, do I want to pay the price for this, right, in my life? Can I even afford it? I can't afford it because maybe my life hasn't allowed me X, Y, and Z, right? So things are, in essence, stuck, okay? Because relationships take a lot of work. And to your point, the reason that I believe those arranged marriages, in essence, worked is because they came from societies that are really balanced in the similar things, right?
Correct.
It's not like you're marrying a stranger in the sense that he'll just run off and start doing something completely crazy that you never saw, right? The society is based upon the same things.
Yeah.
Okay? So those things had worked in the past, but now
it's different.
You're different, man. Like sometimes you don't know what you got. And after you do like the third date or whatever, by the time you start seeing it, you already know the cost.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, I don't want to pay this cost.
Yeah.
Is the cost, because I think it's really important for women to understand what that cost is, because we don't see that part of it. It's really the way life, and I guess the agreed upon method or protocol that we follow in relationship has to do a lot with the man making a decision. The man kind of makes a decision that you're moving from into to be a girlfriend, and he proposes and he asks to get married, and then the wife asks to get divorced. Mm-hmm. So, I think clearing up what that costs, what is going on in the mind of the man, he goes past what he sees mm-hmm. and what he feels, and he's assessing something else on the background. Bruce, what is that? What is he assessing?
Mm-hmm. I am assessing, and most men who think like me, we assessed how consistent she is going to be with the attitude and the posture that she brings into the relationship. Mm. For me, you have to, and this is for me, I think maybe my thoughts are a little stronger mm-hmm. than many men, but for me, based on my experience, I have come to the resolve, so that a woman has to buy into my process.
No, that's right.
100%. When she comes into my life, that's what she's doing. She's coming into my life.
Yeah.
You are being hired into the company of Bruce.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry.
So what happens to the company? Let's say her name is Marsha. What happens to the company of Marsha?
Ooh, good one.
Marsha's company gets swallowed up by mine.
And I see Ryan shaking his head.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's mandatory for me because personally, I'll be transparent, man. I know what I've been through to build what I have built.
Yeah.
So if you just look at the world today, right? Look at the world and the culture and the people who are getting divorced, man. And the wives are walking away with half and a whole, it's like they're winning.
Yeah.
After they came in and, excuse my French, but just sucked the blood out of the guy in the marriage, they're walking away with the bag. And what I've worked over 30 years to put together, I'm sorry. No, that's not going to happen.
What happens if Marsha's she comes in with more? Hers is double what you have right now. So you've worked, let's say you have a $5 million business. She comes in and she is rocking and managing at 20 million. So you're at 5 million and she's okay having a relationship, but she's coming in with a 20 million business.
As I said on season 3, if she comes in with a $20 million business, then that means I have a $25 million business.
Oh,
that means I am worth $25 million. I am a strong believer. And it's like, I pray about it and I say, Lord, am I being too rough? Lord, am I being too hard? No. I have that release in which I am to rule over my woman and my household. And that does not mean abuse. That doesn't mean demeaning her, silencing her voice, degrading her. It means none of that.
What if you don't have a clue as to how to run her business?
Oh, she can run her business.
But you run the money.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I am, and I have not. Once I've had several conversations with men of God, mentors of mine who I respect in the kingdom, and they cannot dispute me on that. I'm telling you, once we get into the conversation,
Ryan, what do you think about that?
The scripture.
What do you think about that?
I think
we have to close off, but tell me your thoughts.
I think people get scared by what Bruce is saying. Because they've never probably experienced it. So I'll give you my situation with how we work, okay? And it really isn't as horrible as women think it is. So with us, we have resources, right? We dialogue. We know that we are running this together. My wife understands that I'm in charge of it, but I'm not waking up every morning running a list. She's like, yes, sir. Right? So there's an understanding. Any major purchases, we have to agree on it together. That's what we chose together. Okay? So if I want to make a big major purchase for what I have agreed with my wife, right? We sit down and she's like, well, let me run some numbers. So she has a thing that she's great at and she does. Okay? I'm not really asking permission. Okay? I'm asking for, does this decision move our company forward of the family? Okay? So then she's like, well, I think we can actually do it. So we do it. She has some other things that she's like, it's a big purchase. And then there's some other small purchases that she doesn't even have to run by me, to house, go out, do whatever she needs to, get nice clothes, right? But all of those things are under the oversight and the understanding that we agree to, and she trusts me as the head of the home.
Charles, what do you do when that kind of scenario, when the man says yes and the woman says no? What would be, how would you get out of that?
You talking about what type of scenario? We talking about
the
like
scenario where Bruce and Ryan seem to be talking about that whole idea of leadership and male, which is leadership, but the woman in that business. If we use the analogy that Ryan had, where he tells his wife, this is what this is something that I'm doing. This is what it will cost. If she objects, what happened? I see Bruce's face. Bruce already. I already know the answer over there.
Mm-hmm. I've learned over the years, Dr. Cheryl, that women respect by example. If you have a track record in front of a woman that's respectable, even if she doesn't agree right away, the argument won't last long because she realizes that she's deferring to a wise man. Now, if you do not lead by, if you don't have a record of good decisions or good return on investment, she's going to challenge you, and you're going to have a problematic relationship or marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, really quick, Dr. Sher, I want to go back to that one part where we talked about, because just to surfacing back about the whole single, why is the man still single thing. This is what I really honestly feel. I know the women may not like me after this one, but I'm going to be honest. And I'm going to talk about us too. Mm-hmm. I believe the women are falling on the sword of their own cause. And I'll tell you why. You have a group of women that are like, I'm a boss lady. I'm well-to-do. I'm ready. I can do this. I have this. I can take care of my own. I'm paying all my own bills. I just need my king to come along. All right. Then on the other hand, you have all of these side women that are out here, or just scandalous chicks just doing what they're doing and whatever. And so basically, I was going to say what's really happening is the agenda of the hoes, HOES, are hurting the cause of the hopeful. That's what's happening. The agenda of the hoes are hurting the cause of the hopeful. You have so many men, so many women that are out here defeating what those single women are saying. Oh, I just need a man. Come on and lead me. And the other women are like, come lay with me. So what this is doing is hurting the men, because it's causing him to become further endowed in becoming unavailable emotionally, because he doesn't have to be present, because he can live in the abyss with the hoes. Mm-hmm. Now he'll have the good women. He'll have the good women. They're there, and he's listening to him, and he's like, yeah, but unless they really make a good cause to his argument, like Bruce say, to be like, I can bring you into my company, he's going to remain in the abyss in this day and time. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Listen, oh Lord Jesus. Well, on that note, we have to close out tonight. But oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Sometimes I come in and I'm just like really tired. Like, oh Lord, do we need to do this again this year? Do we have to do it? But it's moments like these that I realize that we really need to really talk through some of the issues that's happening in relationship and really get the male's perspective. Some women really don't like my stance, and in terms of listening to the man. The relationship takes both people, and I think we've been inundated with so much material about women and women's rights and women's everything. I don't agree with some of the things that these men are saying, but I don't agree on an emotional level. But intellectually, spiritually, logically, they're right in a lot of instances. It comes over harsh, but I love hearing what they're saying. I don't want only for them to think it, because we have to understand, if a man is not talking, it doesn't mean that he's not thinking. And I would like to know what he's thinking, because he's going to move on what he's thinking anyway. So it's better for us to hear. This has been amazing. I'm going to get these guys to come and give their final notes. You don't want to miss tomorrow night. You really do not want to miss ManCave Conversations Season 4. Let me bring back Charles. Charles just kind of dropped that on there with the host and the, oh Lord. Listen, cash out him too, all right? All three of them. Make sure you cash out them. Let's get final words from Mr. Dixon.
Oh my goodness. I would say for final words, listen, at the end of the day, don't allow any situation or circumstance to discourage you from your belief in love and what you feel is promised to you in your life. You know, if you look at this world overall, it can be discouraging the way we see the trends and the way you see the negativity and things that's happening in the world of love, relationships, marriage, and so on. But your belief system is all that matters. And the person that's designed for you will align to that thought. And that's really all you need to be concerned about. Anybody else's love goals in the world, it's not your business. Just be concerned with your faith and your hope system and stay consistent with that.
I like that. It's not your business. It's not your business. You guys know I cannot do this without Charles and Bruce. And so, Charles, we'll see you tomorrow night or the night after that. All right. Thank you. Final words from, let's go to Mr. Bruce. Give us some final. Listen, you guys laid it. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Give us your final words, sir.
My final words is something that I have learned from Dr. Miles Monroe many, many years ago, when he said, if you don't know the purpose of a thing, you will abuse it. You will use it abnormally. I would say to people too, for us to get back to the original purpose of marriage and to get back to our roles. And to me, a role of a woman is to be a helpmeet to the man. So I know my views are tough. You know, my voice is deep. So when I say things that come off a little harsh, but I swear to you, I have the heart of God, and I'm a teddy bear in my relationships and dealing with people. However, I am a strong advocate for purpose.
Awesome. You're gonna be back. Listen, this year I'm not holding back. I want to know everything, and we're gonna go into deep into the man cave. So I know you're gonna be back real soon. Thank you so much. All right, so we're gonna end with the married man, and we're gonna get Ryan to give us his final words.
Well, you know, for people that are single out there, single men, single women, in a world where dating is crazy, the exhortation that I would say is that you are not at the mercy of all the dysfunction. Okay? You are not at the mercy of all the dysfunction. There is a God that is working in your life that said to the sun ages ago, stay, and it stayed there. Moon, stay, and it stayed there. So the purpose for which God has for your life is not at the mercy of the dysfunction in the world. Okay? So my encouragement and my exhortation is to keep focusing on what God has called you to do. Keep moving in that direction. The Lord is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. He doesn't put a desire in your heart to mock you. Okay? And you don't have to become the hose in order to get a good relationship. All right? So that's my final thing.
That's a good word. Are we going to see you again, Ryan?
Yes, I would love to.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, this has been an amazing time here. And you see, this year, we're going really, really deep. We encourage you to tell someone that we're coming on every night, tell them the time, get your popcorn, get your glass of communion, and, you know, sit with us as we go deep into the man cave. Until next time, bye-bye.